So, Adam, what have we got here in front of us?
Well, Simon, we've got a really nice specimen here, and really it's the start of a generation of rifles that would be synonymous with military history. Everyone is aware of the Lee Enfield Rifles, its use in the First and Second World Wars and on to Korea, but it had a grandfather, and that grandfather came in the form of the Lee Metford. Lee Metford, different in many ways to the Lee Enfield, but what this did was take what we had with the Martini Henry, a single round loading, breech operated rifle, and we now have what is essentially a modern, to a degree, bolt action rifle. This weapon system fires the 303 bottlenose, so this is the venerable cartridge that would go on to change design slightly to be a Spitzer style bullet in the 20th century. But this was the bullet it was loaded with,
right.
So you can see it's a slimmed down.
Yeah.
So this would easily go out to well beyond 1,000 yards. In fact, this rifle itself, we'll come onto the sights in a second, is sighted to over 1,700 yards. Wow! Not that you better see that far, but that's how far it can go. So what have we got here? We've got a bolt-operated 10-round repeating rifle, and exactly that. It's operated by the bolt. Bolt comes up, bolt comes in, push, and fire. Okay, right. A very simple, smooth action. It had its faults, but it absolutely was comparable to what the French were producing with the Lebel rifle and the Germans' Gewehr series of bolt-action rifles. A really nice piece of kit that really saw out the end of the 19th century, and with the designs that came in was the genesis for the Lee Enfield series.
So was this a very easy weapon to understand for the soldier who had it? Was he able to maintain it quite easily?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not as simple as, say, what we had with the Martini Henry. There is more working parts. The bolt disassembly it is slightly more complicated, and there are more moving parts. But essentially, this is a very well-made, well put together piece of equipment,
right?
Well engineered, and for the actual soldier on the ground, a pull through, a wire brush, you can do most. Kept it well oiled. This thing would keep on firing, and indeed, this style, the Lee Metford, would be the weapon of choice going into the latter stages of conflicts at the end of the 19th century. So I think Boer War and whatnot. And sort of the weapons implementation and roll in and roll out of sort of weapons, it shouldn't really be seen as a start-stop. It's a gradual phase in. So
sure.
The Martini Henry would have been seen well into the 20th century with some more reserve units or rear echelon units,
right.
And this one would have gone into the more frontline units. So there was a kind of phased approach.
Right.
And as I said, this is very much in a time where we are seeing constant development. So much so that this, the bottlenose 303 was originally chambered with gunpowder.
Right.
So this is a gunpowder charge in, and this was proofed for a gunpowder charge. Proofing is the degree at which the pressures this can take firing. Okay. But actually, at the same time, in the 1880s, when this was being introduced into the early 1890s, gun cotton or cordite, actually, for the French, and gun cotton in America. So a replacement for gunpowder, so the use of smokeless powders.
Right.
What this did was produce, no smoke for a start, or limited smoke, which is great. The acrid smoke on the battlefield was starting to go. But also greater pressures and greater velocities. So this thing became far more deadly.
Right.
Now, again, this was designed with black powder. We'll see with the iterations in the Lee Enfield how the changes were adapted to make a projectile, a rifle that could fire something that could use cordite or gun cotton, nitrocellulose.
I've seen, obviously, this mechanism now on many films over the years. Could you just show me how it would be loaded and how it fired?
Sure, absolutely. So I'll close the bolt off, fire off the action. It's clear. Okay, so now I don't have a 10. These would come in 5-round clips. Okay, we don't have any of those today. But what we do have is a magazine cutoff. So if I was a soldier saying I'm going to fire, I've loaded that magazine up with 5 rounds. Sorry, 10 rounds. It's a 10-round magazine, and the breech is open. I've got this, which is really stiff now, this is our magazine. I can get it. Yeah, sorry, that's our magazine cutoff.
Right.
Okay, so what that allows me to do is not put any more rounds in, and I can hand load.
Ah.
So I could actually have 10 rounds in there.
Right.
And have one in the chamber.
And an extra one.
So what we do, I've got a round in the chamber. This is a dud round. This isn't a live round at all.
Good.
Close the breech. Bit stiff. It's an old weapon. Okay, I'm really good to go. Safety's on. Okay, safety's off. And then I'll fire. Round goes off. And to eject, round gets eject.
Yes, right, okay.
Round.
We're all familiar with that.
Fire, yeah. So very simple action, very simple action.